Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. Let me just turn this off because this tends to. Let's quit that. There you go. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we do the same thing we've been doing for 3 years now. Today is our 3rd-year anniversary. 3 years ago today, yes. Stop. Yes, I cue my own applause and then I tell myself to stop. Somebody's got to do it. Anyhow, 3 years ago today, like a deer in front of lights in the middle of the night, we launched our very first broadcast ever. And so Coffee and Headlines was born. I'm going to show you the beginning of that in a little while. And I'm going to tell the story of how the project got started. Somebody requested that story, but we're going to do that at the end of the broadcast because some people may have already heard it. So between now and then, as always, welcome to another day of headlines from our city, state, and country. Another day of wonderful questions, suggestions, and ideas from you on how we can best connect with each other and with our city here, Puerto Vallarta, as a community of English-speaking locals. Yes, today is Friday, March 31st, our 3rd anniversary. And we have some news to share before we go there. So, as always, we welcome everyone to the broadcast, particularly those of you that have been watching on YouTube, where we appreciate your likes and we appreciate the fact that you subscribe to our channel. And where occasionally you leave comments, and we welcome those comments as well. We also welcome those of you that are watching live for the first time. If that is your case, please let us know by writing the word new, and we'll be so very happy to give you a nice little welcome. Last but not least, and as usual, we will welcome your very important comments when they have a capital letter Q at the beginning, so we can read them during our comment section later on in the broadcast. And today, of course, is the birthday of a dear friend. Today is Luke's birthday. So happy birthday, Luke. Happy birthday. Let's do one of these. Actually, since it's Luke's birthday, Claude's birthday. What am I talking about? It's Claude's birthday, not Luke's birthday. And as long as it is Claude's birthday, we have our very own Claude sound effect.
Woot woot! Almost done.
Happy birthday, Claude. Let's take a look at the news. We start with great news. Puerto Vallarta Mayor Luis Michel has announced that his administration is in the middle of purchasing 10 new trash collection vehicles to address the increasing problem that we have here in Puerto Vallarta with trash not being collected in a timely manner. Yes! The purchase has been approved, he said. So now they're just looking for a good deal on trash collection vehicles. I wonder how many companies sell those. I have no idea. If you experience water shortage today and you are located around La Isla or the hotel zone, SEAPAL will come to the rescue. But if at the same time you're looking for someone to blame, you will have to blame SEAPAL, as their own workers broke a clean water pipe by mistake as work was being done in the improvement of the northbound Francisco Medina Asensio lateral road. And that's a bummer. There's no indication as to how long it will take for them to repair their own snafu, but it is what it is. And speaking of SEAPAL, a top level employee of our favorite water treatment company is now wanted by the law. And since there was a warrant for his arrest, he ran away through the back door at their offices just down the street on Francisco Villa. And today he didn't show up for work. Apparently, this man, whose first name is, Uriel Alejandro is his first name. It's funny because, if you search their name on the website, I'm sure that the last name is there. But as soon as you get wanted by law in Mexico, the papers don't publish your last name. Whatever. He is wanted for mismanaged funds while he was working at the state's water commission a few years ago, where 58 million pesos went missing during his tenure. Ouch. So Uriel Alejandro came to work for SEAPAL only 3 months ago to be the assistant to SEAPAL director Jose Castillo Nunez. And this news is stinkier than Insurgente Street on a bad day. Boom. Where is it? Here. There you go. During the tourism Tianguis that just took place in Mexico City, Volaris announced new flights between Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta starting on June 1st, and also between Guadalajara and Loreto in Baja California Sur starting October of this year. The new flight between Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta will be daily, making our capital city the most connected city in Mexico as far as Volaris is concerned. It doesn't increase connectivity from Puerto Vallarta to other cities, but Guadalajara is better connected thanks to this new flight. And now let us take a quick look at the weather just to see what's going on out there. I like presidents who don't get indicted, says snarky weatherman today. It is 24 degrees, feels like 24. Humidity is higher, 52%, and our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 76. Our weather forecast for today, partly cloudy skies with a high of 28 and a low of 16. Tomorrow, Saturday, mostly cloudy skies with a high of 28 and a low of 16. And Sunday, we'll have a mostly cloudy day, mostly cloudy skies with 28 as a high temperature and 18 as the low temperature. Now, let me give you a couple of reminders before we dive into our story of today. The first thing that I want to tell you, I want to show you this Facebook post that totally made my day yesterday. And this was posted by Gabe Arciniega, a local artist and also the producer of the sold out performance that Raíces gave at Encanto. Gabe said, "A star is born. Raíces, the sounds of Mexico." Although this sensational musical act has been performing around Puerto Vallarta for several years, last night they debuted their first solo in-concert show on the Encanto Theater stage. What greeted them? A packed house, a standing ovation, and fervent, enthusiastic applause after every single song. Yes, indeed. Ask anyone who was there in the audience. A new star musical act has been born. There is only one more chance to see them in their electrifying new show, April 12th. Book your tickets online now because word is already spreading this morning. So they are sure to sell out. Congratulations, Raices. You rocked it. I am so proud. And that makes two of us. You see, their music is wonderful and traditional and fantastic. And although one thing is go enjoy them for a concert, and another thing is go enjoy them in a panel discussion, I must confess that when we had our panel discussion, I was expecting a bigger turnout, particularly when we announced that all the proceeds from the panel discussion would be directed to them um, to further their career. And I must confess, sometimes I worry that audiences are fickle, and I was worried that people would not respond to their performance well at Encanto. But I am so very, very happy to see that they had a great opening night, and I only hope that their second performance at Encanto is as successful as this one. Moving right along, as we mentioned yesterday, tonight is the Puerto Vallarta Gaymen's Chorus performance at the Church of the Holy Cross, if you want to catch that. And of course, tomorrow night is the opening ceremony at La Bodega de Tony, our friend Tony Mora's new wine store and wine bar in Colonia Versalles. So, and now we are going to talk about the beginning of Coffee and Headlines. So, if you're not interested in hearing this, this is pretty much the end of our broadcast, along with our comments. So, back in 2019, I had been invited to be the interim editor for a local weekly newspaper. It was not the PV Mirror; it was the other one, um, and that was fun while it lasted. I think I did it for a month and a half. I don't remember. Prior to that, or at the same time, I was doing freelance photography work. I was doing social media consulting for a couple of clients here in town. All was well. And I had a website, just like I have a website today. And this website I used to use as a receptacle for articles that somehow did not fit in the Vallarta Lifestyles editorial framework. So for years, I've been blogging on my website, not with any other intent than to provide awareness for things that I thought were important, and that somehow were not meant to be in Vallarta Lifestyles. I also used my website to tell stories of the photo shoots that I used to do and travels and so forth and so on. But back to the summer of 2019, I was the interim, the PV Tribune, that's what it was called. I was the interim editor for the PV Tribune. The PV Tribune at the time had a few contributing writers that I needed to go find and make sure that they were going to have something ready for the next particular issue. But I also found it an opportunity for me to hopefully improve the quality of their cover photographs, and also add my own writing to the mix. At some point while I was doing this temporary work, a headline from the United States consular office here in Puerto Vallarta caught my attention. At the time, it talked about over 30,000 registered American people living in the Bay year around. And a light bulb went on over my head. You see, we are so inclined to think about foreigners as people that come here on vacation, and as vacationers or visitors or tourists or expats or snowflakes or snowbirds or whatever you want to call them. They have a very specific agenda that is mostly tourism related. But when I read that there were 30,000, not 300,000, 30,000 folk from the United States alone living here full time, year round, and not even contemplating Canadians, I thought to myself, who is who's talking to these people, who is providing connections for folks that speak English and live here year round, folks that have to pay taxes, folks that are not necessarily enjoying a vacation budget, folks that may have been sold the dream of an inexpensive lifestyle retiring in Mexico. And I saw an opportunity. So we started changing a little bit the focus as much as I could. This was not my paper. This was not my job. I was not even working for the publisher. I was working for the woman that was the editor of the paper. See, she had taken a leave of absence for whatever reason. So it was a very odd arrangement. I was not questioned on what to write, but I was not to approach the company or otherwise. Anyhow, no, that's not even relevant. What's relevant is that I tried to start articles in the paper that had less to do with tourists and more to do with locals. And I also started doing those kinds of articles on my website, and all was good. Aside from that, I was very excited with my freelance clients, and the income was good. I had no complaints. We were going into the fall season, and I had a very successful fall season. And then 2020 came, and COVID came, and usually I don't start worrying about the next summer, where many of my clients used to take a break until the middle of spring. But this time around, it is January of 2020, February, and all of a sudden things start getting strange. And more of my clients start saying, well, we are going to not need your photography and social media services. And all of a sudden I thought to myself, oh shit, my income is threatened. What am I going to do? And at the same time, I had been, as part of my constant looking for things to do and things to improve my craft, I had been looking at live video and how live video was becoming increasingly important. And there was nobody doing live video in Puerto Vallarta beyond just the casual going live on Facebook and showing, here, look, I am standing outside of a restaurant or whatever. And I started thinking, well, maybe I could do this. I had the equipment because I had the cameras, I had the lighting, that I use because I'm a photographer. I had the know-how, I had the microphone because I had used it before. I had everything I needed except for someone or something to push me off the diving board and just get it started. But that happened in March. In March of 2020 is when the shit hit the fan here in Puerto Vallarta as far as COVID is concerned. And I figured I need to make money, and I need to do this. So I had researched the funding of it. I had a very clear idea in my mind of the kind of broadcast that I wanted to have. So let me show you the first 30 seconds of the very first Coffee and Headlines broadcast that was ever released. Again, this was on March 31st, 3 years ago. And here we are. Good morning, everyone. My name is Paco, and I wanted to come live just to share a little bit of my daily routine with you. Usually in the morning, I wake up and I have my cup of coffee and I read my headlines. And what I thought I would do today is instead of doing it by myself, I could use some company, and maybe you can use some company too. So get some coffee ready, and feel free to join me. Feel free to share with me a little bit of time as we read some headlines from the newspaper this morning and from the web. And feel free to say hi, feel free to ask questions, and I'll be happy to answer the ones that I can. The ones that I cannot, I promise I will not make anything up. And that was the premise. That was the premise of Coffee and Headlines at the time. I was scared shitless. I was terrified of doing it. I was thinner. and and I proceeded to find news. At the time, many of us needed comforting because we had no idea what this COVID business was all about. And as life has gone by, we have continued to fine tune the broadcast. We have on an ongoing basis looked for your feedback and your suggestions on how to continue to be useful in this medium. And I have to say that I am thrilled that we've traveled 3 years together. And I am so much looking forward to another three or another as many as we can continue to do this. And we are ironically looking for the same thing. We're looking for company. We're looking for connection. We're looking to be aware of what's going on out there. The funding model for Coffee and Headlines was very clear on my mind and continues to be very clear on my mind. From the very beginning, we decided we do not want to have advertisers here because we want to make sure that whatever comment we make comes from me, comes from the news, comes from reliable sources, and not from expectations that advertisers might have that go beyond their ad. So that is the story of Coffee and Headlines. That is the story of how you make it possible, the story of how our community was born, our cluster. Claude named it a cluster. It was Claude who is celebrating his birthday today that decided to use the word cluster, and it fit. It was Claude that brought from Canada 2 bottles of Taco Bell Pinot Noir wine for us to try. We had not even met each other, and I was so happy to develop a wonderful friendship with him. I've been privileged to develop wonderful friendships with some of you, and as I've mentioned before, I am always grateful when I learn that you have made connections among yourselves and connections with new businesses and culture and ideas and things that keep us together as a vibrant community here in Puerto Vallarta. I'll be the first person to know that Coffee and Headlines is not for everyone. Coffee and Headlines is probably not the best resource for tourists because there are many other resources for tourists. Coffee and Headlines is definitely not a good resource for foreigners living here that are not interested in connecting with our culture, our way of life, our day-to-day. But the door is always and will always be open for anyone looking to expand our comfort level as we realize that if we're going to spend time in Mexico, well, we might as well spend some time with them Mexicans, you know? And that, my friends, is what we do, what we are, and what you have cued me to do. Thank you, as always, for keeping me useful, keeping me relevant, and keeping me with a rent paid on time, and keeping Luna well fed. With that said, let's take a quick look at your comments. Yes. Here we go. Good morning to everyone. It's always great to read you. And of course, it's always great to see some of the things that you do. Like when we get new people and you wish people a welcome. And when people have birthdays, you wish people a happy birthday. You are such a friendly and loving community. And those of you that are not, well, we've kicked you out and we don't care. Well, we do care, but we care more about keeping it friendly and nice and credible and safe here at Coffee and Headlines. And occasionally snarky. Yes, we like snarky from time to time. Let's see. Oh, it's great to see you live, Christy. I wonder how things are going with the kitties and the squirrels, and all these critters that you so lovingly take care of. It's great to see you. Um, Candace says, Hola from Independencia. You know, Candace, you make me think I should go look at my Google map because I don't know where Colonia Independencia is, but you give me something to do, and I appreciate that. Many, many more congratulations. Thank you so very much. Dan says, Can't believe it's been that long. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Um, and so grateful that you like it. Happy anniversary. I remember your first studio with the brick wall. Well, the brick wall was not even real. I had a green screen behind me, and we were broadcasting from my study, and now my sofa is in the study. And lately I've been feeling like, my living room behind me needs a sofa. I barely ever sit in front of the TV because I don't have a couch. So I may be bringing the couch out here, so we may be seeing a change in scenery sometime in the near future. Let's see. Jeannie reminisces. I remember the uncertainty and confusion of those early COVID days. You were our only source of understanding what the government was sharing with us. Thank you for getting us through that time. Well, it was important for all of us. I was as scared as anybody else, and I needed to find out as much as anybody else what was going on. Um, Thank you, Deb. Deb says, Yay to you, Paco. I say, Yay to you, community, for sticking around, for finding what we do here useful, and for contributing to our well being. That is most appreciated. Earl says, I have heard that protesters have closed 200. Yes, I think the people that don't want to have their cars inspected are going at it again. So if you're going to go places, just be mindful. There might be some traffic out there. More good wishes. Thank you very, very much. Oh no! Jonathan's car is trapped in the garage. It is frozen to the ground. Ouch. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And hopefully you will be able to extend your time next time you're here. You threw us a lifeline, says Rita. Well, we all needed one. We all needed one, Rita. And if we ever come into times of uncertainty again, we'll be here. We'll be here to hopefully provide that lifeline to the best of our ability. Let's see what else. Do. Logan, who lives next to the construction woes, is molesto, upset about the timing, as I was hoping everything would be perfect and shiny and orderly in anticipation of Mrs. Logan's arrival. But what are you going to do? Well, there's always cocktailing, my dear. Let's see. Yes, completely agree with Mijal. Raíces, the folkloric music group, deserves all the success in the world. Hopefully, more people will go and enjoy them on their next performance. Let's see. Pat nails it by saying, I am especially happy with the folks I have met through this channel. Muchas gracias. Your sentiments are my sentiments. Every time we have a get-together, and we have a get-together coming up in a couple of weeks, it is always fun to connect the faces with the comments. Just really wonderful. Paula says, you should be very proud of yourself. It's easier for me to be grateful than to be proud, but I am very happy. I am very happy every time I go out there. People recognize me, and I recognize people, and we have conversations, and it's very, very wonderful. Let's see what else we have. Doody. Deb says, your reminiscing makes me miss the brick wall. Well, I wonder if the brick wall is making a comeback. I don't know. I need to rearrange my apartment. Now that COVID is over, I miss entertaining at home. I haven't done much of that lately. So there you have it. More wonderful good wishes. Thank you very much. There is a difference between someone on vacation and a tourist who wants to embrace the local culture. Absolutely, Paula. You've nailed it. Here at Coffee and Headlines, as you know, we think of tourists as tourists, and we think of travelers or voyagers in a totally different category. And we very much appreciate the tourists, although we have a very special place for travelers, people that really want to know what it's like here. Um, let's see what else we have. Oh, Papi. Dog, you always speak so eloquently. Not when I'm stoned, my dear. When I'm stoned, I am far from eloquent. Carmen Porras, it is so great to read you. This is Carmen and Claudia from Oculto, and that is another really wonderful aspect of what we do that makes me grateful. A lot of businesses in town, I'm sure, would like to get free promotion. And, we try to create connections whenever we can with things that are happening in town that are really cool. But above and beyond that, friends like Carmen and Claudia from Oculto, Michael Bufford from Bravos and Siam, the nice friends we've made from the Secret Wine Bar, all those business owners, Eric from the Joint Hotel, all of those business owners, the folks from Licks that have made it a point to not only get their news here, but be part of the community that we've created here, have a very special place. So we've said it before, we'll say it again. Whenever somebody says to me, well, you seem to have favorite businesses. Well, it's not that they're favorite businesses. It's that these are businesses that care to spend time here at the community. So the least we can do is to care to spend time in their communities as an appreciation. So thank you very much. Oh, and of course, Gina, we could not be here without Gina from Whiskey Kitchen, who has embraced our meet and greets and has become a wonderful friend personally. And of course, the restaurant is kind of like my Cheers restaurant because it's right around the corner. Let's see what else we have. Suzanne says, I've been listening since the very beginning. Thank you for getting thank you for getting us through a very tough time and beyond. That's what we're here for. There's a question. Is anyone else having a glass of champagne to celebrate the anniversary? Well, not yet. I am still on coffee, but I've been doing these marathon binges of Succession with my dear friends Michal and Barry, so we'll be drinking wine later on, that's for sure. Michal says, I remember you talking about businesses that were respecting COVID rules and supported you, and we made sure to support them in kind. And I love that. I love that from you, Cluster. We will continue to mention awesome businesses that we discover either because of the products or their values, and we will be always so very grateful when you choose to support them back. And one of those businesses, of course, is our friends from Raíces, the folkloric group. I know that sometimes tickets to local shows can be a little bit on the expensive side for some of us, and that's not up to the performers. Unfortunately, that's up to the venues. So if you find it in your heart and your cultural curiosity to go check out the next concert that Raíces is going to have, that should be absolutely wonderful. And I see somebody's asking Gina about her birthday. Yes, Gina is going to have a little birthday shindig at Whiskey Kitchen this Sunday. We, of course, are going to be there in the evening to celebrate a birthday with Gina. And maybe that'll be a good opportunity to celebrate our anniversary. And, of course, at our upcoming meet and greet. But always, and last but not least, it is only possible because of you, because of your ongoing coffees that you have purchased, which, as you know, translate into income for myself, for Luna. It is thanks to your memberships to Coffee and Headlines that we can continue to do what we do. So keep it up. We're going to be here as long as you consider it useful and important. And for that, I thank you very much. One more day of broadcasts this week. That would be tomorrow. So between now and tomorrow, have a glass of bubbly or have a glass of something, or think of how wonderful you make my life and how much gratitude I feel for you being part of this community. Have a great day, and I'll see you again soon.